Hello. What's going on? Oh, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, all. I seem a little washed out on all. I don't know. Yeah, it'll be all right. Damn, space body. I was like, I haven't even said anything today. I was like, damn. Yes, Oregon did beat Penn State, and I took them because I'm in a pick'em league, and I took Oregon to take them. I thought they were going to. Prediction for the Chargers game? We're playing real well. Giants are starting a rookie quarterback. You never know. It could be a. You never know. You never know. But I think we stand a good chance today. You know RJ Corey? Yes, I know RJ. Yes, I do know RJ. Welcome in, everybody. I don't really associate with too many people online that do this type of stuff. Not because I dislike them or anything. I just people equals drama a lot, and so I try to stay out of that. But RJ is not that. I do like RJ. RJ's cool. Chargers Rams Super Bowl, that would be dope. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just people are drama. And there's always someone doing something. It's always I don't know. It's just too much drama. I'm here to talk politics and influence, influence stuff, elections and politics. I'm not here for the drama. So I stay away from most people. But RJ is not one of them. I do really like RJ. He's cool people. Yeah, I know, Space Body. You were talking so fast that apparently you like that. That's a real bad. We'll call it a quasi Freudian slip today. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Mm. What about that girl Ari? Do you like her? Can't stand her. God, the worst. She's the worst. Mm. She's the worst. I can't even see this one over here. VJ, what's going on? Glad you woke up. What's going on, Feisty? How you doing this morning? Beautiful VJ, Raging Chester, Ogden, Allen, Shay. I was doing Shay. Whiskey. What's going on? How are my beautiful members doing today? Mm-hmm. Love the hat. This is my new hat. Yes, Mosura, it was a Parks and Rec reference. Thank you. So I'm glad somebody got it. I'm talking to both chats, Megan. I don't know what you're talking about. Actually, all three of them. I'm talking to everybody, just not you. Sister Mary, how you doing? Yeah, new hat. Who does? This is my new hat. Yeah, this is my newest hat. I just bought this one. Just got in the mail this week. Just came in the mail this week. Super excited. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, we're decked out here. Well, everybody come on in. We're about to get this thing started. You know how we get this thing going. And where you been at? Last 3-4 weekends I've been going on at 10 a.m. on the weekends. 10 a.m. Central. Yeah, I pretty much have to, especially on Sundays, because y'all know I don't. Y'all know I don't miss Chargers games. Like that's just not something that happens. I don't miss Chargers games. Not for this, not for nothing. All right. Not for this, not for nothing. And normally I get a little extra time because usually the Chargers, whenever they're playing at home and stuff, they play the later set of games, but they're playing in New York this week, so don't get that. Anyways, welcome in. Come on in. Everybody come say hi. I know I'm just waking you guys up this morning. Okay. I know I'm just waking y'all up this morning. All right. So I know those fingers are a little slow, but let's get this chat moving. Let's come on in and say hi. Wish everybody a good morning. All right. Yes, a very unapologetic one. A very unapologetic one. First of all, who really hates the Chargers? What have we done to anybody? What have we done to anybody? Yeah, apparently just existed. Apparently just, just being pretty and having great opinions on things, Come on in. Yo, I said get those fingers working. I'm looking at my chat rate. I can see that. Okay. Oh, Space Body, you moved over. That tripped me out. Okay. I got you over here now. So I can see the people over the landscape. They're doing their job. All right. All right. Oh, let's get this thing on. Let's start going. We're just getting this thing started. We're always a little slow getting started in the morning. Getting some people in here, getting some calls and getting some guests, but that's okay. It just always takes a little bit longer on Saturdays and Sundays to just get moving. Yeah, get those reps in. But that's okay. We're just getting things going, y'all. Welcome in this morning as we get this thing started. Pretty soon we're going to start going to the guest request box. We're going to start going to the phone lines. We're about to start having some conversations. Should be really, really fun. Oh, maybe we're going faster than I thought. I wasn't quite ready, but we'll see who this is. Hello? All right. Well, that wasn't much of anything, I guess. So I guess we are still good. So we're just getting this thing going, getting this thing moving. I hope everybody's having a good day. Yeah, it's a slow start. It's a relaxing start. I actually really don't mind it. When I go on at nights, it's usually, it's so fast. But the morning ones start off a little bit slower. And that's okay. The morning ones start out a little bit slower. We get to ease into things. I get to enjoy my coffee. I got a new water bottle. Happy about that. Oh. Got some tattoo work done. All fun stuff. Oh, actually, I'm going to bring this person up. For a quick second. Hi.
Hey there, good morning.
Hi. Yeah, I hear you were complaining about me taking phone calls.
No, I was just asking, well, first
Well, no, you
off,
were. I read your message. I wasn't asking you if you were doing that. I was just wondering why you were doing it.
yeah, I'm wondering, I've never seen anyone do it. I think it's interesting. And can you see everyone's phone number?
Sometimes I don't pay attention. I get thousands of calls.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just curious because a lot of people on the right were, I don't know if I could say that word on here, but you could find out where their location is and stuff.
Yeah, people on the right are hunting people down in their homes. You are correct.
No, Nick Fuentes just got a knock on his door the other day and
So did
stuff.
Melissa
I don't even know
Hortman
if he's
before.
considered on the right, but
So did Melissa Hortman before her and her husband were shot dead
yeah, by a Democrat.
by a Republican. Yeah, by a
No,
by a Trump
that's always
by
been debunked.
a Trump supporting Republican. Okay, but see, this is why I don't really take TikTok guests and stuff like this, because for some reason people like you have gotten some type of like superiority complex where you think you're deserved something, and yeah. So bye. Just wanted to let you know that I saw you whining and I didn't want to hear it this morning. Anyways. Oh, my back itches. Yeah, and that's why I don't take people like that, because they just bounce around just being annoying. So I'm here to actually have real, true conversations. All right. Not to listen to people like that. Show my tattoo. Well, I just got some stuff added to it. I got it's hard to like see. Pretty much this stuff all just got added. The clouds and the bird and the sun over here, and then the bunny. That all just got added. Yeah, this I got done like all this stuff I got done about a month ago. And then this one's a couple years old, but this one I got done about a month ago. And then I was just getting some stuff added to it. Anyways, y'all, if you do support Trump, phone lines are open, so you can call in and we can have a conversation if you do still support Trump. So I really appreciate you guys. And make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Whether you support me, like if you support the left or the right or whatever, just still come and just still hit that subscribe button, still follow. Of course, if you'd like to support, I do have super chats. I do have my pay links in my bio. I am working on a little live gift goal. So, yeah, if you'd like to support any of those ways, that's also a great way to get things going. Speaking of which, with the first super chat of the day, Jeffrey, with the $2 super chat.
Insane.
Big W's in the chat for Jeffrey for the first super chat of the day. Says, good luck on your convos today, sir. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Big W's in the chat for Jeffrey. I really appreciate y'all. I really appreciate y'all. Wow, that sounded like I don't even know what I was really saying there. All right, I think we did have another guest over here in TikTok land. Oh, never mind, they left. So that's okay. We'll just wait for the next person. Someone said it's wild to still be considered a Trump supporter. I agree. It is pretty wild. Feisty says she has. Hold on. Feisty says she has bees tattooed on her knees. That's great. That's great. The bee's knees. Anyways, that was funny. How's my weekend going? My weekend's going just fine. Just fine. I went to the fair yesterday after went to the tattoo parlor after I got off. So that was fun. That was fun. It was a good day yesterday. But I got a lot of cleaning to do. I started doing the floors yesterday. I got to get finished with some cleaning later today. I get some cleaning later today. All right. Again, y'all, like I said, if you guys still support Trump, the phone lines are open for us to get this thing moving this morning. I'm sure we'll get the conversations going soon. And always, like I like to tell people, as we start getting this thing going, getting on the phone lines becomes a lot more difficult. So, yeah, just thought I'd let you know that. Yeah, I rode some weird fair rides, whatever. All right, let's see who this person is. We'll give him a shot since I'm bored. Hello.
You're a Charger fan?
Hello.
You're a Charger fan. Good morning.
Nope. Can't stand the Chargers. Horrible.
Dude, you got to have your Charger card pulled. I hope to God you're not a real Charger fan, dude, because, dude, liberals can't be Charger fans, dude. They just can't be. There's no way.
You
You
do
guys
know
don't even know
where
what bathroom you belong
you
in.
you do know where the Chargers are out of, right?
Yeah, but you paint your nails and shit like that. How can you be a football fan at all when you're Beta Charlie Delta Edward?
Caleb
You're
Williams.
a paid operative. I do know you're a paid operative.
Caleb Williams paints his nails.
You don't know that I even know exactly who you are. You're a paid op. You get paid by the Democratic Party. They drop people actually scroll.
All right. Hello, how are you?
I am great. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
I am 55 years old.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
I do.
Awesome. What's on your mind this morning?
Well, I am okay. What's on my mind is people is bagging about Trump, and people is trying to get him out.
Hold on. What did you say? I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
I said people is bagging on Trump.
Is what on Trump? Is bagging on Trump?
Yes. People, is, and they're telling everybody that Trump needs to get out of the White House, okay? And they said Biden was great as their president. I voted for Trump. I don't care who hears, because Trump is doing the best he can to put up the border. But why is everybody saying that he's a bad president?
Because he's a bad president.
I don't understand people.
Because he's a bad president. That's why.
He's not a bad president. He's not. People is blind. They need to open up their eyes, and see that, hey, Trump is doing what he's supposed to do with the border and everything.
All right. So let me ask you a question. He's doing what he's supposed to do with the border. Let's start with this. How does the border affect you?
Well, since Biden took it down and Trump put it up, I'm great to keep these Mexicans back in the Mexico.
I didn't ask what the presidents did. I asked how it affected you.
Affected me?
Yes. How does
Okay, let
immigration
me ask you this.
personally
Let
affect
me
you?
let me ask you this. How is it affecting you?
It doesn't.
Oh my, you guys are really boring.
So oh man, we're starting out these convos just
Insane.
this is, I thought, I thought starting in the morning, we'd be people is crazy this morning. People is crazy. People is wilding out on a Sunday morning. People is doing that. Greg, thank you. Good morning, man. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I said, hey, man, hope you're having a good Sunday. I want to thank you for your previous advice on how to research and learn the truth. Much love, my man. Thank you so much, Greg. I really appreciate that. Big W's new chat for Greg for that super chat this morning. Paul, people is grateful for this super chat this morning. Okay. I I honestly thought I was being thought I was being pretty calm with that lady. I don't know what happened. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I'm 21, sir.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Yes, in some ways I do, yes.
Awesome. What's on your mind?
Nothing much. I wanted to talk about the immigration issue. I still support Trump on this because, in my opinion and the research I've done, the immigrants have caused not only increased crime, but increased destability overall, especially in states like Texas and California. And I support Trump's policy to send the immigrants back because not only have they came into this country illegally, they're also starting violence. And I just think that Trump's policy with the border is better than what previous presidents have done. And I think it's good that he's taking action.
Well, there's a lot of stuff there. Let's start with a couple things. One, undocumented immigrants commit violent crime at a rate 30 times less than American citizens. So that's just a fact. And second of all, under the
Well,
Biden,
that is true, but you also have to
hold on.
All right.
You'll have your turn to talk it again in a second. Don't worry about it. Okay. So that's the first thing. Second of all, okay, crime was down across the board in the United States under the Biden administration, so they were not being more crime. So that's ridiculous. But third of all, and I think more importantly than anything, is what makes you think that that being strong on immigration is a Republican or Trump thing?
I'll start with the first option. You said that there's less violent crime committed by immigrants than American citizens, yes?
Per capita, yeah.
Well, see, the thing is that, Well, see, the thing is that there wouldn't be crime committed by violent immigrants if there weren't the said violent immigrants coming in, right? So, the thing is that,
Yeah, you're losing it pretty hard here, man. So again, I'll go to my last question, which is what you're probably better to answer because you kind of lost it on that last one. All right.
I didn't. Yeah, I apologize for that.
Yeah, no, you don't need to apologize, man. Just instead of trying to argue with me, you should listen to what I say and just try to have a conversation, all right? What makes you think that immigration is just a Trump thing or a Republican thing? That being strong on immigration is somehow isolated to Donald Trump?
Well, it isn't isolated to Donald Trump. I just support Trump's policies here. I think that Joe Biden's handling of immigration was bad. He fucked up with the asylum app thing. Remember that? There was
How did he fuck up with that?
Well, he tried to institute like an app where people could apply for asylum. I don't know if you remember that, but
I'm very familiar with it. Yes.
Yeah. It had a lot of
And
issues.
but how was it how?
Yeah.
What issues did it have?
Well, for starters,
Yeah, you should stop clicking and try to have a conversation.
oh, shut the fuck up, you fucking nigger.
We're doing great this morning. Karen, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I think this is a perfect super chat after that caller, which was, I love how you can put up with total crazy. Yeah. Yeah, maybe if he stopped clicking long enough, to have a conversation, then maybe he would have learned something along the way, But we couldn't have him, accidentally learning something over here. That would be crazy. But to answer his question on the app, which of course I guess he couldn't, chat GPT fast enough. The app was made to actually relieve the pressure from Border Patrol at the southern border. And the reason why you had to relieve the pressure from Border Patrol at the southern border is because the Republicans in Congress wouldn't give him more Border Patrol agents. Yeah. Yo, make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, how old are you?
Old enough.
It's insane.
Hello, how are you? Hello?
Hello?
Hi, how old are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
44.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
On certain things.
Well, sir, when I asked if you support Trump, I mean, you can't just pick out the fun couple of things that you like.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me ask you a question. How about this? Are you cool with the fact that Donald Trump is ordering and firing prosecutors, okay, to go after his political enemies, even when no evidence exists to justify an indictment? And then when he hires someone to go after someone and they look at the evidence and then realize, hey, there's not enough evidence to actually prosecute someone, he's just firing them until he gets someone in that will actually prosecute someone with no evidence. Are you okay with that?
What's any difference? How's that any different from what Letitia James and all did to him when, just a few years ago when the Democrats trying to lock him up over stuff that he, wasn't even so much crimes?
He was found guilty of it and he admitted to the evidence. What are you talking about?
Why has it all been dropped and why ain't he in jail then?
Nothing's been dropped and he didn't get put in jail because you're allowed to get convicted of a crime. Sir, I'm still in the middle of my sentence. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
What I was saying was he's not in
about
jail.
it.
He was not in jail. He's not in jail because just because you get convicted of a crime doesn't mean you have to go to jail.
I mean, depends on the crime, don't it?
It does. And the
Okay.
judge, and whether or not you're about to become president of the United States or not. But the charges weren't dropped. He's still very much a felon.
If you say so.
Well, I don't say so.
Most felons,
The judge
most
says
felons
so.
go to jail.
A jury
Most
of
felons go to jail when they become guilty, and he's not in jail.
sir,
So, I mean,
a jury of his peers found him guilty. Okay, they were
but
going
not guilty
to.
enough to put him in prison.
Well,
But not
actually,
guilty enough to put him in prison for however many felonies.
They actually did find enough. That's actually why they had to delay sentencing to find out if he became president or not. Literally,
Well,
his
now that he's
sentence.
president, what he can't go. He can't go to jail now because he's president.
Well, I think really the judge pretty much just said like it would be too harmful for the United States to send the United States president to jail. And honestly, I kind of agree with the judge.
I'm just curious. So if he went weird one day and stabbed one of his staff members, they can't throw him in jail for that?
No, actually, the Supreme Court ruled that they can't.
Really?
Yes,
So if he killed J.D. Vance on TV, he would not go to prison.
correct.
That's bullshit.
No, sorry. Not only is that
not-
not bullshit, the Supreme Court just recently ruled on it.
Okay, so other than that question, I was actually calling about the immigration because you was asking people how does it affect them. Well, people in the construction world, it does affect them.
Sir. Yeah, we can move to immigration. That's fine. You do realize that the Supreme Court ruled that the President of the United States has broad immunity, right?
I don't watch the Supreme Court as much as you might.
Well, but
so
like
I didn't particularly call in,
and that's totally fine. I'm totally cool to move to immigration. That's totally fine. Okay, but I do want to make sure that you understand that the Supreme Court said that within his official duties, the President of the United States has broad immunity. Okay, and they did not define what's within official duties. All right. So literally, you are correct. The president of the United States, and I know we go off these crazy, like huge hypotheticals of what if he, what if he did this or what if he did that? It is truthful right now that he can commit a crime and there's nothing that they can do to send him to jail. Nothing.
Okay, well, I mean, what happened with Richard Nixon? He committed crimes in Watergate, and he got impeached, and it actually went through, and he got kicked out of the office. How come that hasn't happened to him?
Because Donald Trump's Republicans own both the House and the Senate.
Not when he was the first time.
Yeah, they just owned the House back then, which they did impeach
But
him.
they say that the crimes they say that the crimes either happened before then or during that.
Sir, you do realize that the
Right?
that the
Most
House
of
did.
what he's
Sir, you do
most
realize
of
that the
what
House
he's being
impeached him,
put
right?
guilty of happened in his first term, right?
Sir, you do realize that the House did impeach him in his first term, right?
He still finished his term, though, right?
Right, because the
He
Republican
didn't
Senate
leave
decided.
office and give it. He didn't leave
Sir,
office.
do you know
and
how
give it to his
impeachment
vice
works?
president like Richard Nixon did.
Do you know how impeachment works?
No, not exactly. I
Okay,
know that
well,
Richard
if you
Nixon
don't,
got
that's fine. I'm not
impeached and had to
going to dog
give
on
up
you.
his presidency
Sir.
to his vice president. I'm curious
Sir.
why Donald Trump didn't have to give up his presidency to his vice president in his first term.
Yeah, not a problem, sir. I'm going to explain to you impeachment, and then maybe it'll make a little bit more sense to you. So first of all, Richard Nixon wasn't impeached. Okay? Richard Nixon resigned
Really?
before he could be impeached. He would have been impeached, but he resigned
Okay.
before that.
Either way, he wouldn't have finished his term, correct?
Well, we would have had to see how the impeachment proceedings laid out, but I think that's a good guess.
Well, evident the fact that he resigned says that it was strong enough that he would have been impeached.
Well,
You do
again,
agree
sir,
with that,
I'm not
correct?
saying that he would or he wouldn't have. I think that we have strong
Well,
evidence. Sir, listen, I'm trying to answer your question. You have to let me finish words in order to answer your question.
Going back and forth,
I would have
man. You don't
already
act like you
answered.
just
Sir,
own-
listen. I would have already answered your question twice, but you won't let me get words out. Okay? What I am trying to say is, I believe that if he was to go into an impeachment, you are right. He would have been impeached. I believe that he would have been, but we don't know for a fact because he was never impeached. That's all I was saying.
Fine. Yeah. But I'm just saying, seeing the fact that he walked away from it, resigned, tells me that there was enough evidence there that it probably about 90% would have happened.
I agree with you on that.
Okay. So why didn't that happen to Donald Trump in his first term?
Okay, because who impeaches someone?
I don't know.
Okay, so you're impeached by the House of Representatives. Okay, and then after it goes to the House of
Democrats seem to be the ones
listen, sir. Listen, sir. Listen, sir. You're impeached by the House of Representatives, and first of all, right? They're the ones who file the articles of impeachment. If they decide to impeach you, then it goes to the Senate to decide whether you are removed from office or not. Okay. In Donald Trump's first term, the House brought up evidence and figured out that he had committed an offense, and they impeached him twice, actually. And both times when it went to the Senate, okay, Mitch McConnell convinced the Republican-led Senate not to remove him from office. All right. So he was found to have committed the offense, just not to be removed from office.
So Mitch McConnell is his savior. That's the only reason he finished his term, is what you're saying, is just because of Mitch
100%. Yep.
McConnell. Okay.
Yeah. You need 60 votes in order to impeach someone.
Why wasn't Joe Biden impeached for incompetency?
Because, well, first of all, incompetency is not a reason to impeach someone.
When a guy sits on TV running the country and can't even speak a proper sentence correctly and gets
correct,
people
because
wrong
what
and
can you be
shakes hands
impeached
to
for,
dead
sir?
people and this and that. That's not. But what I don't understand is all Democrats and people that hate Trump say that his rhetoric and this and that has ruined the country. How is
sir? Can
having
you
a guy
please
that
stop
can't
jumping
even speak for
around,
our country?
sir? I don't give a fuck
Well,
about Joe
I'm
Biden.
Still going around the same. I'm still in the same
sir,
premise.
listen, please, for goodness' sake. How old did you say you are?
I'm 44. You don't have to keep telling me to listen to conversations.
No, but you're not. But you're not. You're not
man.
acting like a. You're acting like a child.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I raise children.
The
I don't act like
reason
children.
why Joe Biden wasn't impeached is because there is rules on what you can impeach a president for, and it is for high crimes and misdemeanors. Okay.
Well, what's the
and
what's,
being
what's
and
the
sir,
rule? What's the,
sir,
what's the
being
law that
in
they come up
sir,
with?
see how you're talking in the middle of my sentence again?
Well, I had a question. Real
Okay,
quick.
well, one second. Let me
What's
finish
that?
my sentence, and then you can ask your question.
Jesus.
Yeah, see, this conversation would go a lot better if, like, literally you just had any
Well, man,
conversation
stop acting
skills.
like you. I could
Okay.
take my basketball and go home with it, because that's how you're acting with it. You
Sir,
want
I'm
to
just
say something, but
I'm
when
here
you
to
say
talk.
something that strikes an
I'm here
interest
to
in
have
me,
conversations with adults. Okay, not to sit here and bicker with children.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you watch the debates here all around, people don't necessarily just get a time to just go off. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like it's back and forth.
Okay. Well,
That's a
okay. Well,
conversation.
that's totally fine. Be quiet. High crimes and misdemeanors are what you can be
You
impeached
should
for.
ask people. I
And
mean,
being
you're
incompetent,
demanding, man.
sir, being incompetent is not a high crime or a misdemeanor.
Gotcha. So I got a question now.
Go ahead.
What's the rule that they were coming up with when they wanted to impeach Trump because they thought that he was too fat or eating too much Big Macs or this or that shit? What law was that?
They didn't impeach him for being fat.
They were going to try to. They were talking about
No,
his
they were
mental
not.
incompetence, and
Insane.
there was a clause
Where the
or
fuck
a
did you
law
hear
or
that?
something. It was all over TV for weeks. What are you talking about?
What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Is this for real? Is this a joke?
No, it's not a joke. Well, I mean, there was a time frame there for a period that they were talking about Donald Trump in the beginning of what he's in right now, that they were talking about his incompetence. And if there was a law of getting his mental status checked, then he could, be impeached for that.
Yeah, no, you cannot be impeached for eating Big Macs. That is
I didn't say
not
that.
possible.
I said his
You
mental
literally just did.
incompetence and his health.
You can be
That's what I said.
removed, not impeached for health. You can't be impeached for health. You can't be removed for health.
So you telling me that Joe Biden was healthy and of valid mind his entire campaign, all
the entire
all the
time,
memes
probably
that
not.
people have of
No,
all the shit that he said and this and that and all the weird
sir,
shit
I
that he
already
said
answered
and
your
shit that he couldn't
question.
say.
Why are you arguing? I already answered your question.
What do you mean?
I just said during his entire presidency, probably not.
Probably not what?
He probably wasn't in the mental capacity to be president for his entire presidency.
And you don't think that's dangerous for the country when it's
I
like that?
100%
two
agree that
wars
it's dangerous for the
started under
country.
that.
Sir, I 100% agree that it's dangerous for the country.
Okay, so then there we go.
Sir,
So
I'm
now
sorry.
we move on to immigration?
Did you think that I was going to sit up here and defend Joe Biden?
Not necessarily.
Well,
I don't know you.
it sounds like for some reason you think that because Donald Trump is incompetent and senile, okay, that's okay because the last president was incompetent and senile. Okay.
Well, how's he
They're
incompetent and
they're
senile?
both
We're doing better
sir, they're
now
both
than we
bad.
was 2 years ago.
Oh, really? Under what
Yeah.
metric?
Well, shit. I mean, gas is this first time it's been under 350 in 4 years.
Okay. What else?
Some of the bigger things that
Sir,
you worry about
sir,
ain't
what
necessarily
else?
on my plate.
Sir,
But
what
food
else?
and rent and gas and
Food is higher.
Getting paid
Yeah.
properly for my services. That is things that matter to me.
Food is higher.
And if you're gonna say that it doesn't, that
Rent is also higher.
illegals being in the country doesn't affect all that, it does.
Yeah, sir. Again, gas prices have gone down, but the rest of those things are all up.
What?
Yeah, for like mortgage rates, rent rates, food rates, consumer goods,
They're
all
not
those
as high
things
as
are.
they was 3 years ago.
They weren't as high as they were 3 years ago, correct? Because 3
Well,
years.
that's when Biden was in office.
Sir,
okay.
sir. If you can't let me finish a sentence, I will just move on, dude. Like it is a nice Sunday morning, and I am not going to do this with you any longer. Okay?
I think I'm going much better than your other people that you just had.
Congratulations, you're doing better than a bunch of idiots.
Well, I wasn't necessarily. I can't call people idiots just because of what they say. I mean,
Okay.
when
Well,
emotions
all
are
the
in,
rest
people
of those
say
things
that it
are
might not
up.
mean.
So now I want you to tell me how Donald Trump lowered the gas prices.
I don't specifically know how he lowered the gas prices, but they are lower.
Correct, because gas prices just go up and down.
What about that pipeline that Trump shot? That Biden shot down. Is that back open up?
The Keystone
Or
XL
are
pipeline?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was never open.
Yeah, I know it was never open because the Democrats stopped it.
Sir, how
So
could
I'm
something
asking,
open? How could something open back up that was never open?
Well, is it being constructed and built and possibly going to go into, or be active? Because, I mean, that way is going to lower us if we use our own oil for gas like it did in his first term rather than buying it from everybody else.
So the Keystone XL pipeline carried Canadian tar sands oil.
But I thought you said it wasn't never done, so how could it be carrying anything?
Well, that's what it would have carried.
Okay, and that wouldn't have been a positive for us?
No, it would have helped Canada sell plastic.
At a lower price to everybody else?
To everybody else, not the United States. Yeah. You do realize the oil that traveled on that pipeline had nothing to do with the gas that goes in your car.
I don't know about that. I'd have to talk to. I'd have to hear that from people that actually was involved with it.
Yeah, you can look at Trans
'Cause they
Canada's
seem to make
website.
a big deal about it.
You can look at Trans
Well, I mean,
Canada's website
you do
because
know,
again, it
you
was
do know
their
before.
pipeline.
Well, okay, so how much was gas before COVID hit? I
It's
know in
quite a
Savannah,
bit
Georgia, it was
cheaper.
$1.90.
Yeah, quite a bit
It
cheaper.
was like $1.90.
Yeah, quite a bit cheaper.
Well, if they give the man time and stop damn fighting him on every little thing
Sir,
that he tries to do,
why did
then
gas
maybe
prices
he
go
might get to
up?
that.
Is the question.
Why did gas prices go up?
Mhm.
A lot of people say because that Keystone got shut down, and then Biden allowed Russia to build their pipeline.
Well,
and started
again,
buying
sir,
oil from them.
the Keystone XL pipeline had nothing to do with the gas that goes into your car. It was
It has nothing to do with anything at all because it didn't never get constructed, like you said.
If it doesn't have anything to do, if it never was constructed, then how could it make gas prices go up?
That's what I'm saying. The fact that it got stopped.
So why did gas prices?
how do you
So just be clear here. You're telling me that a pipeline that barely even got started on construction, okay, stopping a pipeline that never carried a single drop of oil, made your gas prices go up?
What if it did carry oil across it? What would it have done to the price?
Sir. I'm asking
Would
you
it
a
have
question.
lowered it?
What made the gas prices go up? And no, it would not have lowered it because it was taking tar sands oil, which is used for making plastic, okay? Not to go in your car. It was taking tar sands oil from Canada and taking it to the Gulf of Mexico to be processed to be used for plastic. So it never would have been used in your car.
So you tell me why it was under $2 before COVID and almost above $6 during COVID and during Biden. Tell me.
Yeah, easily.
I don't know.
Yeah. So what happened was, are you familiar with like supply and demand? So like economics 101. Okay, cool. So we went into COVID and during COVID, right? Nobody was moving, right? Their travel was pretty much shut.
So they were all told to stay home.
Sir. Nobody was traveling, right? Nobody was really flying because of the COVID rules. Again, like you said, people were told to stay home, so people weren't going to work as much. A lot of people moved to telework, right? People weren't shipping things in and out as much. Things weren't moving like they normally do, okay? So that had a reduction in the demand of gas, right? That makes sense, right?
Yeah, but do you think people
no, sir, I'm not done. Sir, I'm not getting into the COVID talk. We're talking about gas. I'm just asking if you're following.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So oil was still being produced at the exact same level. So when we have gas being produced at a very high level, but nobody is moving and people aren't traveling, then you have a very, very high supply of oil and a very, very low demand for oil. What does that do to prices?
It's insane.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, cool. Prices go way down. So what happened is actually under the Trump administration, when the prices went way down, big oil was actually taking a huge hit. The big oil companies weren't making a whole bunch of money. So the big oil companies went to Donald Trump and they were like, hey, we need you to save us, right? We need to be making more money. We're not making any more money. So Trump went to the OPEC plus countries and said, hey, we want you to start reducing the amount of oil that is being produced across the world. And he actually got them to create a deal called the OPEC plus deal, right? Which reduced the amount of oil that was produced across the world by 10 million barrels a day, or just shy of 10 million barrels a day. So we had a huge reduction in the supply of oil. So when COVID opened back up and people started going to work, people started traveling, people started buying and all that sort of stuff again, right? What happened was now all of a sudden we have a huge demand for oil, but we have a very low supply of oil because we've had a reduction in the amount of oil that was being produced. So therefore the price of oil went up. And that OPEC, sir, hold on, I'm almost done. The OPEC Plus deal went from when it was signed by Donald Trump in 2020, and it didn't expire until the end of 2022. All right. So we didn't start seeing a reduction in oil costs until 2023 when the OPEC Plus deal with Donald Trump negotiated expired. Now your turn.
Price of the gas did not reduce in 2023. It was just as high in 23 as it was in 21.
Incorrect.
Maybe even higher.
Incorrect.
I lived here in Savannah. It was $4.65 a gallon at that time. I know because I used to put it in a truck that took me $145 to fill up every month or every time I filled it up. Now I fill my truck up for about $75 or about $85.
Okay.
And it's an F350. So trust me, it sucks gas up. So I do know. I mean, it may have been It may have done that in other places, but for some reason here in Savannah, it did not do that here.
Okay. Oil prices across the United States lowered at 2023, and they lowered all the way until the end of Biden's term.
That's if you take it all an average. Now you can look certain
Yes,
areas.
of course
you
we
know
take
what
it
I'm
as
saying?
an
Like,
average.
okay, right now we're at like 275 over here. What are they in California?
Sir, the president the president of the United States is the president of the United States.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So I don't expect him to lower gas prices in Savannah. I expect the gas prices lowered across the United States because the OPEC plus
That's not
deal
what I meant.
affected
Yeah,
the entire United
yeah.
States. Yeah. Places like
That's-
California are
you-
always going to be higher because they tax their gas higher.
Well, that's too bad for them.
Californians are doing
As far
great.
as the reason I called, you were talking about immigration before I called, so that's what I called to talk in. As far as like you asked the guy and the girl, how does illegal immigration affect them? Like I said, in the way it affects me in construction, it does affect construction workers. Now, if you want to explain to me how it don't affect construction workers, I'd be glad to hear that.
Sure, it affects construction workers.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Extremely. It also uses the illegal aliens that are over here.
And how does it? I think the biggest question is how does it affect construction workers, right?
Because we have to lose money to keep bids with companies that are working illegals that get to pay them a cheaper price than what Americans are paid.
Yeah, that's horrible. We should go after those companies.
Yeah, but they don't.
Why not?
Well, those companies have certain strongholds and certain people that look out for them and this and that. Except for like Hyundai, they went through what they went through, which a lot of people come back and said that they had permission to be here and this and that. But it's still the Hyundai plant acting like, they didn't have illegal workers in there when they knew they did.
Yeah, well, their workers had come here legally. They just weren't allowed to work legally. That was the difference, right?
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is, sir, what I'm saying is, if the problem is companies abusing cheap labor, then why is our focus not on the companies and on the migrants?
Because they wouldn't be able to do it if they wasn't here.
They also wouldn't be able to do it if we actually enforced the law that didn't allow them to do it.
Those laws ain't on books anywhere at all, saying that you got to have documented workers.
Of course it is,
but
but they're not being enforced.
Whatsoever.
But they're not being enforced. I mean, I think Hyundai is a great example.
Well, look at all the other problems that they're dealing with, man.
Well, sir,
they're probably trying to catch the murderers and the rapists and all that stuff.
They're actually not.
Repeat offenders.
They're actually
actually not.
No, actually, Stephen Miller.
So the Garcia dude
sir,
and all that. They're
sir,
just people that just living here raising kids.
Sir, actually, Stephen Miller directed the heads of ICE specifically to stop trying to go after criminals and start going to Cardenas markets and 7-Elevens.
They've caught 1,400 child traffickers and rapists since he's been in office. How are they not doing
1,400 of the 300,000 people that they've detained and arrested and deported?
It takes time. They're also looking for those 300,000 kids that disappeared that came over here.
Sir, I have no problem with them going after criminals. I think them going after criminals is great.
Well,
okay?
then you should understand.
No, hold on, sir. I wasn't finished with my sentence. I think them going after criminals, violent criminals, people that are doing bad things, people that are doing things like human trafficking, I think that's awesome. I think that they should do that. Okay. What I'm saying is, if your argument is, should we be going after criminals? Then my argument is absolutely. If you're saying, should we be going after workers who are being freaking exploited by companies? My answer is no, we should be going after the companies.
But you still
those
have
are
to get
two different questions. Okay.
Okay, but like I said, if they wasn't here to be used, then it wouldn't be going on.
And also, if they weren't being used, then they would have no reason to be here.
Can me and you just go run into Mexico and do what we want to do?
What?
Can me and you leave America, illegally cross into Mexico, and do whatever we want to do over there? Live a life over there and this and that, work, all that.
Sure,
stuff.
as long as we don't get caught.
Yeah, as long as we don't get caught. So that makes it wrong.
Yeah, and it's wrong when people do it here.
So why do all Democrats have a problem with us arresting every illegal and getting them out then?
What are you talking about, sir? The Biden administration deported more people in their term than Trump did in his term, and Obama deported more than both of them combined.
Yeah, but all Democrats seem to have a problem with what Biden's doing or what Trump's doing as far
Because
as shutting the border down and taking illegals out.
no one has a problem with
ICE members are being shot at.
No one has a problem with stronger immigration reform. Actually, the Biden administration had 5 different bills that would have done almost the exact same thing, and they were stopped by Republicans every single step of the way, including the last one that was specific. Hold on, sir. I'm in the middle of a sentence.
Wow.
Thank you.
There's no reason to get angry, man.
I'm not angry. You're just acting like a petulant child. Okay? You're sounding
I'm
like
not a child, man. I'm
you are
44 years old.
Then act like one. If you're going to be 44, then act like one.
Back and forth.
Yes, back and forth, not while the other person is talking.
Okay, you don't have to be so touchy about it, man.
Sir, I'm not touchy. You're just annoying and a child. All right, here's what's going to happen. I'll just mute you in the live so I can actually get a thought out. Sound good? Because if you're going to act like a child, then I'll have to treat you like one. Okay? So what I was trying to say was, okay, the Biden administration had 5 different immigration bills across where they tried to do the exact same thing. And the Biden administration wasn't letting people in. People were coming in, and the Border Patrol didn't have the resources in order to fix that problem. That is why those 5 border bills were so important, because those bills were actually what would have given the Biden administration more resources in order to do it. But the Democrats aren't mad, okay, because Donald Trump is trying to secure the border. Securing the border is great. The Democrats are mad because Donald Trump is sending people to torture prisons, okay? That they're sending people to countries like Sudan and Rwanda, all right, even though they're not from them, because they're running into freaking places with masked agents with no name tapes and freaking ripping children away from their parents, okay? It's not doing the thing. Having strong immigration is totally an okay thing to have. Having a strong border is totally an okay thing to have, okay? But there's a difference between that and just being authoritarian and being absolutely horrible to people. How we do things matters. How we do things matters, okay? So now I will unmute you so you can speak.
So what are you talking about as far as Trump just ripping kids away from their children? There are people in Mexico and all other countries that send their kids up here alone. If they're so worried about the kids, why they have them cross with the cartel alone? And you got kids being raped and this and that and killed and murdered, being drowned in the river and this and that because they can't make it across. Where are their parents then?
Sir, this whole idea of kids
back to their country.
Sir.
Oh, see, now I'm talking and you can interrupt.
Well, you asked me a question.
You ain't gonna mute yourself out.
You asked me a question.
Well, I've been doing that the entire time, dude.
Well, then do you not want me to answer your question?
And it's on my side. See, that's what I'm saying. You can interrupt.
All right,
me,
sir. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay. But I'm not going to listen to this anymore. So you have a wonderful day, okay?
What I'm saying. See,
all right, we're going to move on to the next caller. I really appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you guys so much. Karen, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. And after that last caller, here is $10 you need at Starbucks. They have lost their minds. 100%. Thank you so much, Karen. I really appreciate that. Y'all, please make sure that you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really appreciate you guys. Just a Bill said he should read Congress for Dummies. He should read Congress for Dummies. It's a great read. He should probably read anything. Thank you so much, Bill. And EJ, thank you so much for the $2 love from Canada. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to move on to the next person. I don't know what you're telling me. You asked me a question, dude. How are you going to ask me a question and not want me to answer it? Hello, how are you?
It's insane.
Oh, pretty good. I'm pretty good.
Awesome. So how old are you?
Oh, 44.
Oh, gosh. Is it 44 person then? Anyways, do you still support Trump?
I do, as a matter of fact.
Awesome. So what's on your mind?
I've been watching the live stream. I just wanted to kind of correct the record on something, man. Y'all were talking about impeachment, and it seems you have a fundamental misunderstanding of how that process works.
Okay, then go ahead and correct me.
Okay, we can treat the impeachment as the indictment. Then it moves to the Senate, which is tantamount to the court, right, with the senators being the jury. Right, so they convict him and then he's impeached. Now, going back to what y'all was talking about with Trump, and, or like how Biden couldn't get impeached or whatever. Okay, so if Trump were to take out J.D. Vance, like the last guy was talking about, okay, he would have to be impeached, convicted in the Senate, and then you could bring criminal charges. And then he would go to jail. But to say that J.D. Vance could just go out there or Trump, could go out there and just take out J.D. Vance and nothing happened is a misunderstanding of how that process works.
Okay, so what are you correcting?
Yeah, you were saying that basically that Trump could take J.D. Vance out and nothing would happen. That the Supreme Court said he has immunity.
We don't know what would happen. Okay, first of all, I
Nope.
never made any claim about the House and the Senate like that. I understand very clearly the rules of the House and the Senate when it comes to impeachment. I don't know where your confusion was on that. I understand the way that it works. But is Trump impeached?
It's insane.
No. I was listening to the live stream. It was just something y'all was talking about.
That's fine. I don't know what you're saying. Was Trump impeached?
Twice, yes.
Okay, that's the only claim that I made. There was no misunderstanding of the roles of the House and the Senate. I'm very confused because that's all I said.
Well, no,
Second of all, okay, the Supreme Court did rule that he has broad immunity when it comes to his presidential duties, right? And that he would have to be impeached for anything, right? So what it is saying is that he would have to go into a partisan process before anything criminal could happen. All right.
Correct.
So therefore, if he wasn't impeached, so if right now the Republican House and the Republican Senate watched Donald Trump stab J.D. Vance on live TV and kill him, and the House and the Senate decided that that was not worthy of him being impeached, then nothing would happen to him.
But do we?
Yes or no? Am I wrong in that?
No.
Okay, then that is the only thing that I stated. I don't know what you're up here correcting and talking about.
Well. Yeah, I guess you're right, man. I guess you're right. I guess I misunderstood what you were saying. Anything else we need to discuss?
No, man. Have a good one.
All right, appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Says alligator Alcatraz detainees have been disappeared. Yeah, they absolutely have. Thank you so much for that. Another one. Enrico Suave says, so do we go 4-0? I feel good, but might be a trap game. It does feel like a trap game, doesn't it? It definitely feels like a trap game. I'm scared of it. Hope we don't take it too lightly. All right, y'all, if you'd like to support the live, I do have super chats and all that fun stuff open. I'm also working on my live gift call. And I do have my pay links in my bio. So if you'd like to support the live, I really appreciate you guys. Also, please consider becoming a member. That is a great way to support the live and help this thing going. So I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We do this every day but Fridays. Hello, how are you?
Very good. Good afternoon.
Afternoon or morning. We're here where I'm at. I'm assuming you're somewhere on the East Coast. How old are you?
Yeah, I'm from Georgia. I'm 23 years old.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Yeah, I support Trump.
Awesome. What's on your mind?
Well, not much. I mean, I'd rather just answer your questions because, it's a bit more easy
That is my
way.
question.
Ooh, what's on my mind?
Yeah, like why did you call the live?
I called the live because, well, I mean, in general, I think that most Trump supporters right now here, when they're saying,
I'm sorry, you have to repeat that. Most Trump supporters are what? Sorry,
most Trump supporters are saying that. Oh, you have a sorry.
No, it was on me. I was just saying there was a noise playing in my ear. That's all it was. Just go ahead and repeat yourself.
Oh, sorry. But basically, when I was saying, when some guys just now who are supporters of Trump, my fellow supporters of Trump, when they are saying you had a misunderstanding of the how do you say this presidential impeachment, I was going to say that Trump himself has presidential immunity, and I think that him using that for himself is pretty good. And also the fact that I'm a member of the Exalted Knights of the KKK. I hate niggers and Jews. Fuck you.
All right, man. Well, where'd you go? Why do they always hang up afterwards? That's my issue. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the next call. Do. Roberto, thank you so much for the jewels. I really appreciate that too. Oh, that's weird. Controller OG, thank you so much for the jewels. I appreciate that also. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I'm doing great. 37.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. What's on your mind?
Well, a little bit mixed emotions about Trump, man. I mean, he's not perfect. Obviously, we all see that. But he's also done good, for the country, man. I mean,
Like what?
do you agree with that?
No, I don't.
You don't?
Well, he
Okay.
did. He did a couple things good for the country, but for the most part, no.
Yeah. My biggest thing, man, is I had two people to go by to vote for, and I'm not going to say the better of two evils. That's not the best way to put it. I'm going to say I just, from what I've seen from Trump and from what I've seen from Kamala, I just seen better in Trump.
What did you see that was better? He's a 34-time convicted felon. He's adjudicated sexual assaulter. He freaking defrauded a children's cancer charity. I mean, he's currently sending people to torture prisons and literally going after his political enemies, firing prosecutors for not bringing charges where there's no evidence, literally trying to be an authoritarian when it comes to this like sort of stuff. Like he can't walk straight. He's embarrassing us on the world stage, like at the UN. What is possibly better from Donald Trump?
Who is when Kamala is on The View and they say what could you I forgot exactly what they said verbatim, but she said she didn't have a thing in mind that she would do other than
yeah, that's a bad
over
answer,
Biden.
sir. That's a bad answer to a question. Okay, how does a bad answer to a question equate to what all the things that I just said about Donald Trump?
Okay, let's go back to Trump then.
No, I'm just you're saying Kamala Harris said they asked, oh, what would you have done different? Which, by the way, I don't know why anyone thinks that put on the spot. Is it like, hey, are you willing to trash your boss, who's also the president of the United States, who could also control if you ever did get a chance to run for president? Like, I don't know, like why. Like you would think that the vice president of the United States would trash the president of the United States on The View. That's wild.
Do you know,
but hold on.
you know,
but if you don't like that answer, that's fine. Okay, I'm okay with that. I'm not a huge fan of the answer either. Okay, how is a bad answer to a question on a talk show? How does that equate to a guy who is literally a felon? Okay, who is literally an authoritarian? Okay, who literally freaking defrauded a children's cancer charity? Okay, like who literally sexually assaulted someone? How is a bad answer to a question? How does that equate?
Insane.
How does that equate somehow to worse than all these other things?
do you believe Trump is racist?
I believe Trump at least friggin' cohorts with racists, and he's definitely done racist shit.
Going back to the torture camps or whatever, how really torture? People's getting tortured, dude.
Yes. The prison
Tell me.
brags about torturing people. What are you talking about?
Have you seen the inside of these places?
I mean, I've seen the reports from the inside. I've never been inside of CCOT. That would be weird.
I didn't say been, I said seen. Okay, check it out, man. There's health facilities. They feed them 3 times a day.
Sir, what prison are you talking about?
Dude, it's called prison. It's not going to be.
Sir, what prison are you talking about?
Teens. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about CCOT. What are you talking about?
Okay, CCOT. Yeah, dude, it's freaking gangsters, man. What do you? I mean, you want to feed them steak, Salisbury steak?
Sir, they weren't convicted of any crime. I'll go even further than that.
Okay.
They weren't even charged with a crime.
Okay, so they got MS-13 and stuff all over their bodies, but oh shit, yeah, that's right. They're not convicted.
Sir, one
man.
guy
Not
got
bad.
sent there for having a tattoo that said "Mom and Dad." He was a gay hairdresser. How many gay hairdressers do you know in MS-13?
I don't know, man. You tell me.
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, I've never been part of MS-13. I did grow up in Southern California where there are lots of gangs, and I'll be honest with you, of the people in gangs that I did meet, there was zero gay hairdressers in the whole bunch.
Yeah.
Like zero, right? So like I'm pretty sure like a gay hairdresser that had a tattoo that said mom and dad on it isn't having gang stuff all over their bodies, right?
Well, I'm going to go back to if you don't mind, to the two people that I had to vote for. Okay, Kamala was our vice president, and she had 4 years to help fix a lot of stuff, and she didn't.
Well, actually they did. They did fix a lot of stuff.
They did. Okay. What did they fix?
Well, first we had the
I don't
fastest.
have Google in front of me, man.
Neither
I
do
don't
I.
have Google right in front of me.
Neither
I'm
do
just
I.
talking right off the phone. So
Me too.
what did they fix?
Okay, they had the fastest economic recovery from COVID in the entire industrialized world. Okay, literally dropping our inflation rate down from over 9% to under 3%, faster than any
And
other
it shot back up.
industrialization. It didn't. When
And
did
then
it?
it shot back up.
When did it? Yeah, it shot back up a little bit, and it's still shooting up right now.
No, eggs went down. Meat's gone down.
Meat is not
It's
down.
not- it's not.
Beef is up over 20% since Donald Trump took office.
I just checked Google for eggs the other day, and they were
Sir,
down.
eggs is fine. Eggs were affected by the avian flu. I don't know why. I don't know why, for some reason, in the United States, okay, we've somehow conflated the cost of one single grocery price to the price of groceries. Groceries are up across the board since Donald Trump took office. Eggs were high under the Biden administration because of the avian flu.
See, I didn't, man. I don't know why everything that happens, inflation, all this bad stuff, it's always Trump's fault.
Sir, it's not a matter of it being Trump's fault, okay? I'm just giving you numbers. Nobody's blaming anyone.
Okay.
Since Donald Trump,
Yeah,
you said your question, sir. Your question
said
was,
in Trump's
sir.
administration,
Listen.
in Trump's
Hold on.
administration.
Listen. You asked me what did the Biden administration fix. I was just starting to name things, and then you wanted to nitpick egg costs. Okay. Let me go back to all the things that Biden was fixing. That was just one thing. The fastest economic recovery from COVID in the industrialized world. Okay. The largest infrastructure bill in the history of the United States. Okay. The Chips and Sciences Act, which literally isolated us from foreign manufacturing of chips, allowing not only for better national security when it came to our military, but the isolation of many of our industrial products, including computers, AI chips, cars, and all sorts of other things. The PACT Act, which was the largest bill to help for veterans healthcare since the Veterans Access to Care Act under the Obama administration. I mean, shit. What else? I'm forgetting stuff. Even there were so many things they did. They had, by the time that they left office, immigration was at an average border crossing less than it was under the first Trump administration. Even admittedly, they could have done a lot better on immigration, but still, they did help to fix things. Like, I mean, there was a ton of things that they did. What are you talking about?
They was letting people flood into this country.
Sir, how about you address any of the other things I said when I already said that one was a problem? How about you address any of the other things?
Like what?
Like all the things I just named that the Biden administration did.
Okay.
I named about 5 different things that the Biden administration did and fixed. Okay. And you like to take the one where I said where immigration could have been done better. I just said, hey, it was improved over time. But I said they could have done better. And you're choosing the one that I'm saying that they could have done better on. Why don't you choose all the stuff that they did? You're saying you had the choice between two people, right? And you had Kamala Harris, okay, which even when it came to immigration, her job when it came to immigration was to reduce asylum seeking in the Northern Triangle, which she did and reduced it by 50%. She was very instrumental in things like the largest infrastructure bill. She was very instrumental in the Chips and Sciences Act. She was very instrumental in recovering our economy, okay? Those are all really, really great things that Kamala Harris did as vice president, all right? Donald Trump in his first term had one piece of major legislation, which was the TCJA, which significantly increased our chances of inflation, ended up printing a whole bunch of money, was actually one of the largest causes of inflation, okay, at the end of his term and going into Biden's term due to printing money. And if you want to ask a source on that one, you can ask Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, who literally talked about it when they were debating him. All right. So what did Trump do that was so good that made her better than all those great things that Kamala Harris did? Okay. Another one. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. He's funding research in hospitals too. Sure is. All right, I guess we're about to move on to the next caller. Y'all, if y'all would like to support the live, I do have super chats open. I like to go through them in between calls and stuff like that. So if you'd like to support, I really appreciate you. And like I said before, also always remember, consider becoming a member. It's always really fun. I really appreciate that. Or gifting memberships. Lay Ann, thank you so much for the $5 over on Venmo. So I love your lives, Polly. I've learned so much, and I really do appreciate everything you do. Thank you so much for that. Oh no, not that. I'm sorry, I was reading something. Thank you so much. Y'all, please make sure you hit that follow button and that subscribe button. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. We do this every day but Friday. And Claudia, thank you so much for the $50 over on Venmo. I really appreciate that. Huge W's in the chat for Claudia. It said, long-time listener, first-time gifter. Thank you for your calm, intelligent presence standing beside you in Colorado. Thank you so much, Claudia. I'm actually not in Colorado. I know the area code says that, but I know I'm actually not in Colorado. But thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Huge W's in the chat for Claudia for that huge $50 Venmo. Thank you so much. All right, we are going to move on to the next caller. Thank you so much for all the support. And really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. We're going to open up these phone lines, keep this thing. Oh, and thank you guys so much for the Caterpillars for hitting me on that live goal, too. I really appreciate that. Hello, how are you?
How's it going?
It's going well. How old are you?
Say that again?
How old are you?
35.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
I do.
Awesome. What's on your mind?
I was just listening to some of your conversations with past people, and I guess I had a few questions for you. How old are you?
I'm 38.
38. Okay. Married, have kids?
I'm not married. I do have a kid.
Okay. And do you feel like you'll be leaving the world a better place for your kid with the influence that you have on them and the people that are around your kid?
Well, I think that we all hope that.
Okay. Do you are you familiar with a concept called psyops?
Yeah.
No, I know that you're a Democrat and
Who
your
said I was a
beliefs and your
Democrat?
values. What's that?
Who said I was a Democrat?
I don't mean to mislabel or label, but obviously democratic values or whatever. What would you say that you are then?
I am not a Democrat, no.
Okay. Fair enough. What would you say that you are?
Sir, do you still support Trump?
Do I still?
Yeah,
support Trump?
I feel like I'm
It's
on
insane.
I feel like I'm on an interview on like a call-in dating site or something. I'm just trying to figure out where we're going with it. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just like, I don't know where we're getting at this. I feel like I'm just being
100%.
questioned at this point.
What is the point of having a conversation without having open-ended questions? I mean, am I offending you with questions, or
You're not offending me at all, sir. I'm just trying to get on with the conversation. This is
that's how conversations
quite
work.
not entertaining.
Questions.
I'm a progressive. Okay, that's
Okay,
where
thank you.
my political
So-
ideology is. All right.
Awesome. I respect that, and I have no problem with that. But what I do find interesting is that I come across a lot of these YouTube channels that are under an algorithm almost profoundly, and I find myself hearing information that could both-endedly be rhetoric on both the right and the left. Now, you asked me one question: do I still support Trump? And the answer is yes.
Insane.
Do I think that this country has a lot of things going on with it that are quite crippling to our immediate response to jump on a bandwagon? I would say 100%. And I would basically say that under the one question that I asked you, if you're familiar with what psyops is would you think that right now our government is not in complete control or is trying to push a narrative on both sides with the current political climate that we're in?
Well, of course they're trying to push a narrative. All governments try to push a narrative.
Well, I guess basically the short end of it is I work indirectly through the Department of Defense, and I have levels of understanding of what's going on internationally and domestic. And I guess what I see is a lot different than what you guys hear and what statistics you speak about.
I'm sorry, was that a question? I'm sorry,
No, just an open-ended comment. I'm sorry if I'm offending your intelligence.
sir, nobody's offended. I am running a show and this is boring as shit. That's all I'm getting after, bro. That's it. I have no problem. You're not offending me in the slightest, dude. You've said nothing offensive. I'm just trying to get to where the point of this conversation is going so that we can push the conversation forward, because this is a show, okay, where for entertainment, and people want to hear conversation that is actually leading to a place. Okay, so I am trying to figure out where we're going. You're trying to push this like psyops narrative. Okay, you're trying to push this psyops narrative. I'm trying to figure out where you're going.
It's not pushing a psyops narrative. I asked you if you were familiar with it. What do you want to talk about?
Fucking anything else. Literally anything else with probably anyone else, to be completely honest with you. I really just want this to end. If you want me to be completely honest with you, whatever makes this stop.
Then hit that red button. Do it for me.
Will do. All right. Dude, bro, let's just get this thing moving, dude. I don't know what we're doing over here. Sharon, thank you so much for the $75 over on PayPal. Big W's in the chat for Sharon for the big $75. Says keep up the fight, Paulie. I really appreciate that, Sharon. Thank you so much. Big W's for Sharon on that one. That is absolutely huge. I want to see all the W's for that one. That is absolutely huge. And Jimmy Jam, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. Sam, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I really appreciate that. Says, can anyone saying I am Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk would destroy this guy? Please call and prove it. Please do. Please do. If you got that in you, then call on in. If you're about that life, I welcome you on up here. Thank you so much, Sam. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thanks for the boxing gloves too. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Bro, I just wanted to get to the conversation. That's all it was. I just wanted to get to the conversation. And that's all. Nothing that serious. Just wanted to get to it. All right, phone lines are back open. We can keep doing this. I'm sure I'm going to see so many phone calls after Sam's super chat. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I am 34.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
So, I guess, do I still support Trump? In some areas, yeah. In some areas, no. I mean...
All right, real quick, before you do that, y'all, please make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Yeah, the some areas yes, some areas no thing is always like really weird to me. Donald Trump is currently directing his Department of Justice to go after his political enemies when they haven't committed a crime and there's no evidence of a crime. And he's ordering them to do that. Right?
Yeah, both parties have done that.
Okay,
so,
where did the Biden administration do that?
They directed their DOJ to go after Trump.
They did not.
They directed their DOJ to go after the January 6th rioters.
There is absolutely zero evidence to either of those claims.
You don't need evidence. It's all right there for you to look at.
Yeah, no. See, that's what's called a causation versus correlation fallacy.
Well, you can call it whatever you want. The fact of the matter is that they went after him.
Sir, do you know what the difference between causation and correlation is?
Do you know what charging people with crimes and giving them absurd sentences is?
Yes, I do. Now, can you answer my question? What is a causation versus correlation fallacy is?
Who gives a fuck? What are we talking about here?
We're talking about causation versus correlation. That's what we're talking about.
No, we're talking about the former administration overcharging people for the January 6th riots. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, again, sir, you are confusing two different things because you don't understand what causation versus correlation is, which is what I'm trying to teach you.
Well, can you address that?
I'm trying to. Okay. So
Okay,
the
just
difference between
address it directly.
causation and correlation, all right, is what you're saying is the Biden administration was in power. And also, these people were charged with crimes that they definitely did, that we have evidence for. Okay. January 6th protesters and rioters and insurrectionists, in particular, we had them on videotape. Okay. So that's what we would call
Okay.
evidence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What about
Okay.
the
No.
sentencing?
No. I'm still explaining it to you. Okay? All
What
right.
about the sentencing?
So I'm not going to address anything you want to ask me until I'm done explaining.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Cool. So we had
Sounds all right.
evidence, okay, of crimes. And because we had evidence of crimes, they were indicted based off the evidence of those crimes. And then some of them were convicted based off of that evidence of those crimes. Okay. So they were convicted on evidence. Okay. They were indicted on evidence.
Yeah, we get it.
Specifically,
They're
no,
convicted
I'm
on
still
evidence. You said
talking.
it like
You
four
almost made
times.
it. You almost did it. Okay. The
Yeah, you said
Trump
it like 4 times.
administration, okay, told the Department of Justice to go after James Comey. Okay. And when they actually
James
said,
Comey's a piece of shit.
sir,
It's insane.
almost,
What did James Comey post
you
on
can
his
do. Again, I'm not answering
X
any of
account?
your questions until I'm done speaking.
Yeah, what did James Comey post on his X account?
Okay. So, what I was trying to say before I was very rudely interrupted is that Donald Trump directed an investigator and hired an investigator to go after James Comey. All right. And then the investigator looked at all the evidence and said, that a person that Donald Trump hired looked at the evidence and said, we don't have any evidence to indict this guy on any crimes. We have zero evidence. Okay. And so when he did that, then Trump fired the investigator for actually following the evidence. All right. And then he just hired someone new who decided to indict him anyway based off of no evidence. So can you see how the difference in between the January 6th protesters, rioters, insurrectionists, okay, that actually have evidence towards their crimes, and Donald Trump directing people to indict people with no evidence? Do you see the difference between those two things?
I'm giving you evidence. What about the image that Comey posted on his X account? The 86 image of seashells.
Yeah, I don't care about Comey being a good person or not. I could give a shit whether he goes to jail or not.
I mean, they're going to address that?
I don't care. If he did a crime, send him to jail. I couldn't give a shit.
That is a crime.
Whatever.
You're threatening the
sir,
life of the
sir, I think that you have a fundamental misunderstanding.
You brought up Comey. You brought up Comey as an example.
I think that you have a
fundamental
fundamental misunderstanding of what I'm speaking of. And it might be because you're doing too much time talking and not enough time listening. Okay. So let me try to put it at like a let me try to put it at like a
you down.
So let me try to put it at like
I shot down your argument. So
let me try to put this at like a 5-year-old level for you. And then maybe you can understand it, okay? My problem is not with people committing crimes, being indicted for crimes. My problem is with the president of the United States directing prosecutors to go against things, whether there's evidence or not. That's my issue. James Comey is just one little tiny thing. He did the same thing with Letitia James. He did the same thing with George Soros. He's doing things with a lot of different things, okay? But sir, I'm going to let you know that, I'm going to let you know this right now, okay? I am not going to sit up here and have this talk over each other conversation like children, okay? So either you can
talk all you want. Go.
So either you can address what we're talking about and we can have a conversation, or I'll just move on to the next person. No problem at all, okay?
I did address it. You brought up Comey. I gave you an example.
I brought up the president of the United States directing investigators and prosecutors to go after people, whether or not there is evidence. That is what I brought up.
Okay, well, if there is evidence, why wouldn't you direct prosecutors?
If there is evidence, then they would have already been indicted.
We're working on it.
No. They already would have been indicted. Because again, prosecutors have already looked into this and shown that there was no evidence.
Well, you had a shitty prosecutor. It's time to move on to the next one.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you just want a prosecutor in who's going to find evidence.
There is. I just gave you evidence.
You gave me an ex post.
Yeah.
That's not evidence of a crime.
That's a threat. It's a direct threat to the sitting president of the United States.
First of all, that's not evidence of a crime. Second of all, how do I even know that
That is a
evidence came
crime.
from him?
Because it was on his account.
So
he's not in charge of his own account.
Sir, I don't know what's on Comey's X account. I don't follow James Comey on X. Do you?
Well, you should.
Why?
Because then you would have been able to actually understand why he would go after him, why he would initiate.
So you are
prosecution on
admitting
him.
that. So you are saying that he is going after his political enemies. That's good.
Yeah, I would too.
Oh, okay. So you're for authoritarian government.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Well, then that makes sense. That's all you had to say from the get-go.
Yeah. I mean, what are we talking about here?
Oh, we're talking about the fact that we live in a democracy and not an authoritarian government. And I would have thought that most people in the United States actually believed in things like democracy and freedom.
And we're evolving.
That would be devolving.
No, I think we're evolving.
You don't evolve
You only
into
have-
something worse.
You only have two options, right?
No,
you had
you always
Biden
have more than two options.
and you had Trump.
Wrong.
Okay, those are your two options.
Wrong.
What was the third option?
Well, those aren't even the two options.
What was the third option?
Who did Donald Trump? Do you not know who Donald Trump ran against for president?
Yeah, Kamala Harris.
Oh,
It
not
was
Joe
basically
Biden?
Biden 2.0.
Oh, gotcha. So you didn't even know who he's running against.
Yeah, what did Kamala Harris say on The View? And I mean, she said it multiple times, but do you remember what she said?
I don't know. I don't watch The View. Do you
Okay.
watch The View?
I mean, it's good to actually listen to these people. You know, if they're running for president, it's probably good
who
to
are the people on The View, by the way? Who are the hosts of that?
You got Joy Behar, you got Whoopi Goldberg, you got a couple of people who claim to be Republicans. It's kind of irrelevant. But she went on The View.
I didn't know we had Trump supporters that were big View fans. That's pretty impressive.
It's good to watch all politicians.
Oh, I'm just surprised. I don't care that you watch it. I'm just surprised.
Well, it's important. I mean, how are you supposed to get a 360 view of, the individual that you're voting for if you don't actually listen to the words that come out of their mouth?
I do listen to the words that come out of everybody's mouth. Donald Trump said he was going to be a dictator before he even became president.
Well, you just got through saying you didn't watch her interview on The View. Did you watch her ABC interview?
I watched all sorts of interviews.
Okay. Well, I watched both her ABC interview, and on both of those shows, she said that she wasn't going to be any different than Biden.
That's actually not what she said.
She said that.
That's actually not what she said.
Exactly what she said.
No,
I thought
they
you
said
didn't watch it.
I didn't say I didn't watch it. I said I didn't watch The View.
You just said you didn't watch the interview.
No, you said, did I watch Kamala Harris's interview on The View? And I said, I don't watch The View. I never said I didn't see what she said on there. Of course I saw what she said on there. I watch this all the time. I sit on here every fucking day. What are you talking about? You should use your listening ears. What she said was, the question was, would you have done anything different? And she said, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. She did not say, I would not do anything different in my term if I was elected than Biden. She didn't say that at all.
Yeah, whatever.
See, now
Doesn't
you're
matter.
lying and trying to misrepresent the argument.
It's the same shit. She worked under him.
So now you don't like being called out for actually not actually knowing what it was said, huh?
It's exactly what she said.
Oh,
okay.
Sorry, you don't like how how I didn't let you just run off on your misleading and
you're
lie.
playing word games.
No, you're
Stop
playing
lying.
word games.
You're playing word games.
Actually repeating what she said. You
Okay.
are misrepresenting
That's what that
she said.
means.
No, it's
That's
not.
what that means.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it is.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it is.
It's literally two things,
it is.
past and present.
I'm purple and you're blue. Ha ha ha. That's exactly what that means.
So if I say, all right, I would not have done anything different over the last year of my life. Does that mean that?
Let's say
and you're now muted and no one can hear you, okay? All right, perfect. So if I say that I would not have done anything over the last year differently, does that mean that I am going to live the exact same next year as I did last year?
I'm still muted.
No, you can answer the question.
Yeah, well, if I was Hitler's vice president and you asked me...
Yeah, I asked you a question, sir.
Differently?
Are you going to engage in that?
No, answer my question. If you were Hitler's vice president...
I asked my question first. Engage with the
somebody
question.
Asked you...
Nope, not interested.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. I'll answer your question, and then you answer mine. How about that?
No, because you're acting like a child.
All right, well then leave.
You're playing word games.
Then leave.
You know, if somebody says something and you can't,
Then leave. I don't care, dude. You are not helping anybody. You're not helping anyone doing anything by here. You should leave then.
back to
You have
what
one
the
last
original argument
chance
was.
to address the question that I just asked, or I'll move on to the next
What's
caller.
look, you're playing word games. You're trying to trap
5,
me into some bullshit.
4,
You're trying to get word bites,
3,
word snippets.
2,
Yeah, fuck you, dude.
1.
Yeah.
All right. Obviously, sir, by saying if I said I wouldn't have changed anything in my last year of my life, it does not change saying that I would do nothing different in the next year of my life. That makes no sense. Another one said, not even engaging. This caller sucks. Yes, he did. Okay. He actually, this must be one of those people that says they're the new Charlie Kirk, because he actually kind of argues like him. Not engaging with anything. We're going to move on to the next caller. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. If you guys like to support the live, I do have super chats and all that fun stuff open. So I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I'm 22 years old.
All right. Do you think you can stop, trying to laugh over there and actually, speak words or no?
No, I just didn't think I was going to get on. I've never called into a show before. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, you sound like you're having a little bit of a rough time. So are we going to make it through this?
What?
Sounds like you're having a little bit of a rough time. Are we going to make it through this?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, do you still support Trump?
I do not. I never supported Trump, but I just wanted to say a couple things.
All right. Well, I'm not interested. Thank you. All right. We're going to move on to the next caller. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Wake Up Sweep, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said, if Kamala didn't change a thing from Biden, the country would be fine unless we hit another pandemic. Yeah, we would have been fine. Actually, the country was doing great when they left office.
Hello?
That's a very, very good point. Thank you so much for that, Wake Up. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. How old are you?
It's nighttime for me, though.
It's what? What'd you say?
Oh, I mean, good evening.
Yeah, awesome. How old are you?
I'm 19.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
By technicality, I do support Trump because I'm not actually American. I'm Chinese. I thought they'd be interesting to see your point of view on this. I support Trump because Donald Trump himself, because of his horrible economic policies, as well as his distancing from NATO, as well as the Western powers in Europe, I believe that he has opened the way for collaboration between foreign nations away from the USA and allow them to economically prosper, as well as gain more autonomy for themselves. I was just curious what a progressive like you would think about his policies, his foreign policy.
Yeah, I'm going to kick you because you don't go here, but that actually is a really, really good question. So I'm going to answer it because it actually is a really, really good question. And honestly, I've been listening to so much just horrible people shit that actually having an engaging question is actually like kind of nice to me for a second. So I am going to answer this question before I kick you because it's a good question. What do I feel about that? Well, let's be very clear. Donald Trump is not intentionally isolating other countries and causing them to form alliances with each other, isolating themselves to the United States. He's doing it because his foreign policy sucks and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Okay, so it's not like this is some intentional foreign policy from Donald Trump to be like, hey, I'm gonna push the BRICS nations together. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna make NATO stronger by forcing them to stand on their own 2 feet. He's not doing that on purpose. They're doing it because they're running away from Donald Trump because he's scary, because he's a chaos agent, and because the status of the United States as a hegemonic stabilizer of certain regions of the United States no longer exists. We can no longer be trusted to be the stabilizer, even though the United States has done certain actions that are very destabilizing, but they have done a lot of actions that have been very stabilizing, and that whole idea of us being, any type of stabilizing force in the world is pretty much gone, right? How do I feel that helps? Well, I think that it tends to make, we'll put it this way. No, hegemonic nation or empire across the history of the United States has ever fallen lightly, right? It's always fallen hard. Like look at the Roman Empire, look at the Ottoman Empire, look at the British Empire, right? They haven't gone from like first to second, right? It's always first to last, right? So by pushing away our own like our own power and our own ability to be that force that we spent a lot of time creating, okay, I think it just forces the United States to end up in a spot where they fall quicker. And I obviously have a big issue with that, right? Like, I think that China is you're being Chinese. I think China militarily and economically is a huge threat to the United States. And I don't think that China would take would take very long wanting to seize any advantage that they could, if they could.
Yeah,
but
that's real politics. Following that theory,
It's
I'd say
insane.
that you are right in this. I completely agree.
All right, man. Well, thank you
Overall-
for the actual like intellectual conversation where I actually got to think for a second.
Yeah, no problem. Bro.
You have a good day, all right?
Insane.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yeah, bye. Wow, an actually engaging question, y'all. Holy crap. That feels good. Tell me some chat for that last caller. It's sad. The best question that I've gotten in a month about US politics doesn't even come from an American. Frustrating also. Another one. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Says Trump is dumb. His cronies are not. Yeah, some of his cronies are dumb too. I really appreciate that. Luis, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Big W chat for Luis. Say hi, Polly from Puerto Rico. My MAGA friends don't want to talk to me anymore.
It's insane.
I presented with facts and your help and Chat GPT. I was able to shut him down. They'll come around eventually. But thank you so much for that, Luis. I really appreciate that. And Sam, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said thoughts on people getting deported and visas revoked for criticizing Israel. I think that is ridiculous and it's an attack on American free speech. Ooh, I didn't mean to take that down yet. It's an attack on American free speech and being critical of our government and the way our government handles things and especially how our government interacts with foreign entities is part of what is protected under the First Amendment. And the fact that people are trying to revoke visas or try to limit other people's free speech, because guess what? You still have the rights to free speech, even if you are an immigrant here, is anti-American and anti-constitutional and absolutely disgusting. That's what I think, Sam. But thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. All right, we're going to keep this thing moving. I got about 19 more minutes for this Charger game starts, which means I got about 17 more minutes to converse with people. Y'all, please make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
40.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Yeah.
Awesome. What's on your mind?
You're a fucking nigger.
All right, anything else? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Y'all, over on the TikTok side, can we get that thing to 200,000 likes? I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to move on to the next person. We also only need one more of these tiny little reading dineys too. See if we can hit that up. Hello, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. How old are you?
I am 35.
All right, awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Yeah, I do actually.
Awesome. What's on your mind?
Okay, so I was just calling. You mentioned something about the pipeline, and it was only going to create plastics. I believe you said in the Gulf of Mexico.
It was for tar sands oil, which primarily is used for plastics because it is quite costly to refine. But yeah, I mean that's not the only thing we have to talk about with the pipeline. You do realize the pipeline was shut off before Biden even took office, right?
Right. I was just saying, like, usually when you move large amounts of petroleum, like even different variation of the distillates, even though you're creating plastics, you're still going to have your light, medium, and heavy distillates, which still create gasoline. They'll say gasoline, diesel, and your plastic products, which ultimately you're increasing supply, which puts downward pressure on gas prices.
Right. It would have increased Canada's supply.
Right. Well, then we'd have to move it all the way up to Canada.
Right, but the intention of this oil was never actually to go to the United States or Canada. The whole point was it to go to the Gulf of Mexico, for it to be refined in the Gulf, and then for it to move out to other countries from there. So that the purpose of that oil, regardless of what it was being refined for, was never intended for the United States.
Well, I'd have to counter that. Canada is our largest importer of petroleum,
Right,
especially
but
gasoline.
that oil was specifically meant to leave.
Okay, so you're saying the oil that was going to be refined. Okay, was supposed to.
I'm not saying we don't get oil from Canada. We 100% get oil from Canada. I completely agree with you, right? Like 100%. I'm saying that oil was specifically being piped down to be refined at the Gulf of Mexico and then to be sent out to other countries for use for things like plastics for the most part.
Yeah, no, I'm saying is you're gonna get plastics, you're gonna get diesel, you're gonna get like naphthalates out of this distillation process, which ultimately does increase the supply.
Sure.
That's why I called in.
But not our
I was
supply.
just trying to figure. Actually, it's a global supply. That's why OPEC Plus, even
It would be a global supply. Yeah, you're right.
Right,
And that would help.
That's why
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, go ahead. I was agreeing with you.
That's why I see OPEC Plus's decision. They're not the largest exporters of petroleum that we get from. We're usually Canada, then Mexico, then Venezuela, then OPEC.
Yeah.
But it still affects our gas prices
after
massively.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we also produce a very high amount of oil also.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But again, the entire point of that was that the Keystone XL pipeline, A, never got started, so it couldn't affect gas prices. B, this oil was specifically meant to leave the country, and it was primarily used for plastics. And like you said, there is a distillation that that allows some of it to turn to gas, but none of it was going to us to begin with. And third of all, that gap pipeline was shut down before Biden even got into office. So I don't know why Biden's getting blamed for a pipeline that was shut down by the Supreme Court in June of the year before he took office.
But yeah, and that kind of brings me into the whole thing is usually presidential decisions have a lagging effect on things.
They do.
That's why I'm starting to notice like Trump has been in office only 6 months. Granted, he's done a lot of executive actions. A lot of these policies that are going, it's a lot more than just the current president. There's three branches of government here. And that's one of the reasons I kind of do support Trump, just for the single fact that I hear a lot of people call him authoritarian, that he's an authoritarian dictator. I would just have to argue that he was democratically elected. There are checks and balances in place, and that's the only thing why I'm supporting him.
No, there's supposed to be checks and balances in place, and like currently, right now, certain checks and balances are working, certain checks and balances are not. But regardless of whether there are checks and balances in place, right? You shouldn't want your president to be acting like an authoritarian and then hoping that the checks and balances catch it, right? That's the difference, right? The Biden administration, the Obama administration, hell, the fucking Bush administration, right? Name whatever administration that you want, attempted to work within the bounds of democracy.
Insane.
Okay, not subvert them. And currently, the president of the United States is trying to subvert them, i.e., right, sending his DOJ after people to indict them on charges that that do not exist for evidence that does not exist, right? You want to hope, we hope, right, that the judicial system looks at that and those charges come up and then they go, oh, this is a bunch of bullshit. And of course, and releases the charges, right? But I don't want my president to be attempting that, right?
Right.
Like when you talk about the president of the United States trying to take away birthright citizenship, right? I don't want my president to try to do things that are anti-constitutional and then hope that the judicial system catches him. I just don't want him doing those things to begin with. So it's not that we don't have some systems in place. First of all, again, like the judicial system has already said, Donald Trump has broad immunity, right, for official acts. So that's already one check and balance that has gone. The Republicans own both the House and the Senate, right? So that's another check and balance that has seen no will whatsoever to actually challenge Trump in any type of way. I mean, let's forget half the things he's doing. Anybody who puts RFK in charge of Health and Human Services obviously has no will to challenge the president of the United States, and they pretty much let him do whatever he wanted. They passed a big, beautiful bill, and half the freaking Republicans, and they were like, we didn't even read it.
Right.
So while there are supposed to be checks and balances, these exact entities that are supposed to be doing those checks and balancing the system have given up a lot of their authority to the executive branch, right? And that mixed with a president who is purposely trying to gain power within the executive branch, and which is trying to push the limits of his office, right, into an authoritarian style. That is where things get dangerous.
I have to agree. Right. I think what we're seeing more is the politicalization of the Justice Department more than the actual hostile takeover of it. I do think that there's different branches. For example, he can do a broad directive, especially being the head of something. but doesn't necessarily mean like, hey, go make up charges to arrest someone. So if he wants to, let's say I want to look for senators or representatives that might be circumventing what the Department of Homeland Security is trying to do, go see if someone's breaking law or something. He's more than allowed to do that. But granted, will that hold up in a court in a trial of your peers? That's a whole different thing. That's why we do have some. I see the concern. He's expanding his the executive branch's power the most, but I do think there's still the way the judicial system works and Congress works. There's still a good check and balance on him. I think we're just he's a loudmouth. He likes to yell a lot, which erodes public trust. But I do think he was duly elected. He's still the current president. As much as people like to argue about that, one of the reasons I did support him, I didn't like.
Hold on, but again, I'm not saying he's not elected. That's not. I'm not saying he wasn't elected. I'm saying he was elected. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that. But just because you're elected doesn't mean you're not an authoritarian. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can be elected once and then still be trying to become an authoritarian, right? Like, and I think people have this confusion, right? Like look at Viktor Orban in Hungary, for an example.
Okay.
All right. By all definitions, he's an authoritarian. All right. By every definition, he's an authoritarian. Do they still have elections? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Is there still an opposition party? Yes. Right? There is still an opposition party. Does that opposition hold membership within their government? Yes. Okay. But because he's an authoritarian, he makes sure that they can never have enough power, right, to usurp him or what he wants in any way, shape, or form. Let me give you an example of how that's translating into American politics, right?
Sure.
Donald Trump ordering the state of Texas to redraw their districts in order to give him more seats. Right?
You're defining like gerrymandering?
Right. And again, gerrymandering is bad. Gerrymandering is done by all parties. I'm not arguing that. Okay. But there was rules around it, right? We redrew districts after a census, right? Every 10 years. That is when we did redrawing, right? 5 years into that, Donald Trump goes, look, I know pretty much that my policies can't hold up to a midterm election because he's underwater on every single part of his government as far as polling is concerned, right? So he told Texas, find me 5 more seats, right? Even though if you look at the registered amount of Democrats in Texas, there's actually more registered Democrats in Texas than there are Republicans. Yet he ordered them to find more Republican seats in Texas. You see what I'm saying? It's just a matter of holding power that he shouldn't have. I mean, if he gains those seats, are those seats still going to be elected seats? Yes. Right? Does that truly represent our democracy? No, it does not.
Yeah, I've seen a similar thing happen in California. They've redistricted several times. But he does face scrutiny from the other branches. There's been many policies that he's had that he's tried to do that have been blocked. So that's why that's like a counter against his authoritarian. Oh boy.
This term. Don't go back to the last one. This term.
Yeah, I'm going this term. Yeah, he's had certain things blocked.
Like what?
Let me think.
But hold on. By who? By the judicial branch or the legislative branch?
Judicial branch.
Oh yes, I agree with you. He's had things blocked by the judicial branch. But the problem is he implemented those things before he did it, and he's also gotten the courts to agree to things like not being able to lower court justices not being able to implement nationwide injunctions, right? So to where now if a judge sees something that's illegal, the judge can only rule for that district without it going to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled that they could do that. He could do that.
That might be an actual good thing, though, right?
It depends on the president that you have. If your president is trying to do good things, yes, it could be a good thing. If your president is trying to do bad things, like usurp the Constitution, it's a very bad thing.
Well, yeah, if he runs for the third term, he's definitely usurping the Constitution. But I do think federal judges of certain districts having nationwide impacts is an abuse of power. I think that's why we have certain courts have representation in their certain districts, and they go higher and higher. Right, like the appellate court is a wider branch, then we get all the way to the Supreme Court. But a district court in, let's say, San Francisco will have a completely different view of someone in Birmingham and Alabama. That's why the whole idea of the Electoral College was created.
The issue with that is, like, let's take immigration for for like a example, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Donald Trump deporting people, right? I forgot which people he was deporting. He's deported so many people to like just illegally or whatever. Right?
Okay.
So like he was deporting a whole bunch of people to was it El Salvador? I think it was El Salvador.
Yeah,
I believe
El
what it
Salvador,
was.
Venezuela,
Right.
whoever's like taking the prisoners. I think there's like some
Yeah,
exchange.
right. So he was taking a whole bunch of planes or whatever, right? And so he was saying he could do this, and he got challenged in court to say, "Hey, these people, have done nothing wrong, or these people are actually legally here, or like or whatever." And so the judge goes, "Oh yes, you can't do that." Well, if they can't issue a nationwide injunction, then those immigrants can just be moved to someplace outside of that region and then deported anyway. You see,
Well, they might have.
You see where that becomes a problem?
They might have protection against it. Like the long arm reach of the law only applies if the state itself wants to enforce that.
Right, but they don't have the protection against this because this is something that actually happened.
Right, but you've also seen the same thing with extradition protections, like Michigan to, let's say, some red state. Right, they might not exercise extradition from the state. They grant protection to that, so the state can actually protect in certain regards. Now, if they've broken a federal law, if they can prove that they've broken a federal law, yeah, they will have the power to go in there.
Right, but these people didn't break any law.
I would assume that there might be some outliers, but there have been a vast number of people who are here illegally.
I'm not saying being here illegally, sir. Just because somebody's here illegally or illegally doesn't mean that you can just treat them however the fuck you want.
You're absolutely right.
Right?
But
so like with Donald Trump, like sending people to CCOT, right? You can't just send people to torture prisons because somebody's here on an undocumented status, right? People still have human rights, right? And that is where these challenges are coming from. They're not coming from Donald Trump exercising executive privilege in order to deport undocumented immigrants, okay? Like I don't think anybody's arguing the fact that Donald Trump has, a certain level of executive privilege that he does not even need approval from legislature or judicial branches in order to deport people. I wouldn't disagree with that, right? It's where you're sending them and why you're sending them there, right? Like if you're sending people to Rwanda or Uganda or South Sudan, right? That's an issue if they're from Venezuela, right? If you're sending people to places like CCOT, that's an issue, right? Like if you're sending people to a foreign torture prison for a crime that has not been proven, that's a problem, right?
Yeah.
And so it's these challenges, which is why we need a certain level of nationwide injunctions, right? But again, taking away those nationwide injunctions, where we could argue that we could argue where there could be good instances where it works and bad instances where it doesn't. It's again another ruling that helps Donald Trump consolidate within the executive branch.
I mean, I agree with you, but I would say, where's the House Minority Leader on this?
I assume under the desk in the White House, or the Majority Leader, or the minority. Sorry, did you say the majority or the
Leader?
Minority, freaking doing whatever the fuck they can. They can't control anything, dude. The Republicans own the majority in the House, right? The only thing that they can do in the Senate is stop from a 60 person vote, right? Because the Republicans own 53 seats in the Senate right now. Right? Like there's nothing they can do. They bring up things, they talk about things, they try to filibuster, they try to, bring up, legislation. They can't do anything because the Republicans own it all.
Right. Well, but how did they get to this point? It was unfortunately, we can say that the masses spoke, if you will, on that. We'll see what happens this November. I heard there's some seats possibly changing, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like ultimately, this is the democratic process that we have, right? He is authoritarian, maybe on a personal level, but I would say the president, just looking outside, he can't just steamroll all the three other branches.
Sir, Hitler was democratically elected. Okay? Just because the democratic process worked out does not change the fact that people are becoming authoritarian. Hell, I won't say most, a large percentage of people that are authoritarians or dictators or rulers of their countries were democratically elected at some point.
Right. But the suppression of free speech, let's say, I haven't seen that so far. Like the fact that we're still having this right now, we're not political prisoners. That's an issue. Our free speech is protected.
Our free speech is not protected, right? But you're just saying we can still do this now.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
yeah. But again, in Nazi Germany, at some point you could do it until you couldn't, right?
Until you couldn't, right?
Right. Like in Soviet Russia, you couldn't do it You could do it until you couldn't, right? These things aren't like a they're not a turn switch, right? They're not a key, right? It's not somebody gets in office, next thing you know, they turn a switch and now nobody gets free speech. And if you speak at all, thank you, Tessa. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's not like you just turn a key and then all of a sudden it's, you don't have free speech. These things are gradual. These things take time, right? And things like Donald Trump going after Colbert or going after Kimmel or going after AP News or anything. These are small steps in removing free speech, right? This is step to step to step to step to step. And then when you get years down the line and you look back and you're like, oh, how did we get to a spot where we have zero free speech? Well, you look back and go, oh, look, all the signs were there. We saw it start to happen with Kimmel. We saw it start to happen with Colbert. You saw it start to happen with him removing AP News. You start to see these little just steps and steps and steps, and they grow and they grow and they grow and they grow and they grow. And what they do when they grow is they teach the person that's trying to get rid of them how they can maneuver through the system to remove those protections slowly and steadily. All right.
Well, we can see the same thing. I just feel like this is the opposite swing of the pendulum. What happened during the COVID-19? The other side was crying about suppression and that their free speech was being revoked. Because I did see instances where somebody would say, "I don't believe in COVID." Granted, some things were incorrect on there, but they would say, like, "I think masking is not a good idea." Maybe maybe indirectly they didn't know what they were talking about. Maybe they wanted to go more of like the herd immunity aspect of this thing, but. That's what kind of where I'm pointing at. It's like it seems like it's just a different swing of the pendulum, and the other side is crying, but they're still operating within the framework of that we have right now, which is our current democratic framework.
Sure. When it came to the thing about COVID, yes, I understand that people had a problem with the Biden administration going to social media companies and being like, "Hey, we're trying to like not
It's insane.
let everybody get killed over here. Like we should stop blatant misinformation because people aren't going to know direction." Right? Was that right or was that wrong? We can argue that, okay? Like I don't really have a huge stance on whether that was right. I can see both sides of it. One side of it says, hey, that's a violation of free speech, and I can kind of see that. And the other side of it says, hey, it was for the good of people to be able to get correct information out. And I can also see the correct side of that, right? Like I'm not making a definitive argument, based off of this, right? Because there is a big difference between freedom of speech and yelling fire in a movie theater. Right. There are limits to our free speech that already exist.
Absolutely.
And so is, spreading blatant misinformation that's killing people same as yelling fire in a movie theater? I can see how we can make that argument. You know what I'm saying? All right. But that is, oh my goodness. Lena, thank you so much for that aqua gun. That was so cool. Thank you so much. Sorry. Someone just sent me a gift I've never seen before. That was super cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That was super cool. I apologize. Anyways, I digress. That was super cool. Thank you so much, Lena. And so like that's the argument there, but there's a big difference between, hey, we're trying to, regardless of whether you believe it's against a free speech or not, I'm trying to keep people safe. To a late night talk show host said something I don't like. Okay. It wasn't misinformation. It wasn't for the protection of people. It wasn't for any type of benefit. It was just, he said something I don't like, so I am going to use the power of the U.S. government to take away what he's saying for the simple reason that I do not like it, and that's all. And I'm just saying we have to be able to differentiate between those two things. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get off the phone with you. This was a great conversation. Charger game started 2 minutes ago. I'm late. I'll talk to you later. All right, bye. Sam, I saw that. Sorry, I thought I had mods in there that were working. I guess my mods were off. I appreciate the $2 super chat. I was able to mute them. So sorry about that. Stacy says Hitler was democratically elected 100%. Thank you so much, Stacy. Jimmy says it started with Trump being banned on Twitter. It absolutely did. Thank you so much for that $5 super chat. And Lena, really, thank you so much for that aqua gun. That was super cool. I don't know how much like that thing was, but that was a lot of coins and I really appreciate that. So thank you so much. That was very, very sweet. I will be back on tomorrow night at 7:00 p.m. Central. Make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love you guys so much. Have a wonderful evening, right? Bye. Oh, and if Ari's on, go see Ari. She should be on right now. Go raid Ari. Ari should be on someplace. It's Ari on TikTok, Mermaid Ari0 on YouTube. Go check her out. Go raid over there. Go say hi to her. All right, love you guys. Bye.